Today I'm going to show you how to make sourdough chocolate chip cookies. No, they're not sour, they're lovely. Hi, I'm Sune and I'm a food geek. Today I'm going to show you my recipe for sourdough chocolate chip cookies. You might be wondering why anybody would put sourdough starter on a cookie, but if you haven't tried making a sourdough discard recipe, you're in for a treat. Sourdough starter makes any baked good better, even in the sweet department. I have various recipes with leftover starter, which I put in a convenient playlist for you, linked in the card above. The banana bread is out of this world. The recipe today even provides you with 2 different baking times if you prefer a soft cookie or a more crunchy cookie. Your starter mustn't be sour when you use this recipe though. So you may want to feed at a high proportion like 1 to 50 to 50. That will remove the sourness from your starter. Just be aware that if you feed at such a high proportion, it will take a long time to peak. And you need the yeast and the bacteria to ferment the flour to get the flavor benefit. If some of you want to make these cookies without a sourdough starter, I'll explain how you can do that in the recipe part of the video. They're great cookies no matter what. If you're new to this channel, I bake a lot of sourdough bread and I make delicious food from all over the world. If you want to see more of this content, please join me by subscribing and ringing the bell so you won't miss any future videos. The cookies are made with all-purpose flour and the flour that comes from the starter. We use all-purpose flour because we want to avoid too much gluten development, as that would make a chewy, bready cookie, which doesn't sound so pleasant, right? The flour in the starter will have absolutely no gluten left, so that won't affect the texture. The sugars are half regular caster sugar and half dark brown sugar for a more complex taste. You can substitute either one with the other if you want. Furthermore, the dough is enriched with egg and butter. I use salted butter. If you opt for unsalted, you may want to add 2 grams more table salt, which is about 1/3 of a teaspoon. You can substitute the butter and egg with vegan butter and commercial egg replacer for a vegan option. The rest of the ingredients are vegan friendly. The chocolate chips, I used semi-sweet, which gives more chocolate flavor, but you should use whatever kind you like the most. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider joining my Patreon. You can also buy some merch, or use the super thanks, or use the links in the description for tools and ingredients. Those were the words. This is the recipe. I've put a link in the description for the written recipe on my website. It can easily be printed and scaled. To a medium bowl, add 85 grams or 2/5 cup of granulated sugar. 85 grams or 3/5 cup of dark brown sugar. 170 grams or 1½ sticks of butter. Mix until it's incorporated. Look how good the Danish dough whisk is for this kind of work. Then add 50 grams or 1 medium egg. If you want to skip using the starter, you should use 170 grams or 3 large eggs. 5 grams or 1 teaspoon of baking soda. 5 grams or 2/3 teaspoon of table salt. 10 grams or 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Mix it all together. Then add 200 grams or 4/5 cup of sourdough starter. Mix it in. If you're skipping the starter, then you should obviously skip this step. Then gently fold in 200 grams or 1½ cups of all-purpose flour. If you skip the starter, add 300 grams or 2 cups of all-purpose flour instead. Once the flour's in, add 200 grams or 7 ounces of chocolate chips and fold them in. Cover the dough and put it in the fridge for at least 20 minutes, but an hour is great too. I was wondering why the frisbee kept getting bigger and bigger. Then it hit me.
Once you're ready to bake, heat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius, 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I use fan-assisted convection, but you may not want to. You know your oven better than I do. Take the dough out of the fridge and let it come up to temperature a bit. Portion 9 cookies for a sheet. I'm using a 3 tablespoon ice cream scoop. Then put them in the oven. If you want soft cookies, bake for about 8 minutes. If you want crunchy cookies, bake for around 10 minutes. Check that they're done and take them out. Put the baking sheet on a wire rack and let everything cool down for about 2 minutes. You can also opt to bake all the cookies simultaneously, but then I would swap the sheets halfway during the baking to ensure even cooking. Move the entire sheet of parchment paper, including the cookies, to the wire rack. Let them cool completely, or eat them warm. Who am I to tell you what to do? Enjoy them with a good cup of coffee, or however you like to enjoy your cookies.
Wow! How about them cookies?
C is for cookie, that's good enough for me.
Don't they just look amazing? My son was hovering around the kitchen as I pulled them out of the oven and has been asking me ever since when he gets to eat them. I guess now that I recorded the video, he can dig in. As a Dane, I prefer my cookies more crunchy than soft, but whatever floats your boat, as long as the boat isn't made of cookies. I hope you learned something today. See you next time.